Welcome to class. This practice is going to be all about balancing. We're going to begin into a tabletop position. So take your time to get there, aligning the shoulders on top of the wrists and the hips on top of your knees. Pressing the ground away, spreading the fingertips wide. We're going to take here just a few breaths. As you're moving away from any back bend that might happen, drawing the ribcage in, belly button towards the spine, active through your hands, through your arms. And here, try to start engaging the muscles of the neck as well if they aren't already. So notice if you're dropping the head down heavy or if your tendency is to look up. And if you notice as you do that, you might bring a bit more the spine into a back bend. So instead, tuck slightly the chin towards your chest, engaging the front neck muscles, the deep neck flexors. A couple more breaths here. Starting to feel a little bit more heat perhaps into the body. And then we're going to begin warming up with some cat-cows. Inhale to open the heart. Exhale, chin to chest, round the spine up. And again, inhale. Open the front of your torso, front of your body. Exhale to round the spine. And again, you can move at your own pace here. Finding your own rhythm. Finding that kind of movement that your body needs to invite a bit more space, a bit more warmth inside. You can close your eyes as you're doing this. Finding that connection with the breath. For a couple more, you're moving, you're expanding. Exploring before making your way into a tabletop position. Still pressing the floor away, finding that same pose we did just a moment ago. And then we're going to extend the right leg back. Now again, try to avoid coming into a back bend. So try to avoid dipping into your lower back, but instead keep the leg in line with your hips or lower. Your foot flexed. All toes, the knee pointing down, still pressing the floor away. Now wrap everything into the midline and reach the left fingertips forward. Inhale here. Exhale to open towards opposite side. So elbow bends towards the left, knee bends towards the right. Inhale to extend. Exhale to open. One more. Inhale. Exhale. Now hold here, inhale, exhale to bring elbow and knee together, rounding the spine up. Inhale, open to the sides, exhale, bring it in, engage in the core. One more time, inhale, open, exhale, bring it in. Inhale to extend. And then release the left hand down onto the ground. The left foot to pivot out towards the side. Right foot still lifted if possible as you're opening into your supported half moon. So your right fingertips are reaching up to the sky. Tucking the tailbone under. Keeping your core active here. Shoulders stuck one on top of the other. And then you're starting to transition that right foot forward. Move it in front of you until it comes more or less at the level of your hip. And then you're moving it back. 2 more times like this. Reach it forward and move it back. One last one. Reach it towards the front and hold for 2. For 1. And then transition the foot all the way at the top of the mat, allowing the left toes to point back. Release the right hand down onto the ground, frame the front foot. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, send the hips back. Don't worry if the leg doesn't extend. You can always keep a softness into the knee. Inhale, come forward, open your heart. Exhale, back. Inhale, reach forward, reach the arms towards the sky this time. Exhale, swing everything back. Hug the inner thighs in towards each other so it's easier to maintain the balance. Inhale, forward. Exhale, swing back. Inhale, reach towards the front. This time, hands into your heart center. Tuck the left toes, lift the left knee up. Now take just a couple of steps forward so that your weight can be all the way onto your right foot. And then lift that left leg up, coming into your warrior three, your standing balance. Keeping the hips squared, your back leg engaged, your foot flexed. Breathe in here. Well done. Hands are coming down onto the mat. You're stepping back into your downward facing dog. Take a few movements here. Pedal through the knees, stretch the back of the legs. Any other wiggles that your body feels the need for, feel free to add it. And then bend the knees and come forward into your tabletop position once again. We're going to move on to the left side. So find your form, pressing the floor away, and then extend the left leg back behind. Again, make sure that you're not going into a back bend. You're looking down and you're keeping the chin slightly tucked into the chest. Wrap everything into the midline. Stay active through your left hand as your right reaches forward. Inhale here. Exhale, open towards opposite sides. Inhale, extend. Exhale to open. One more time. Inhale, reach forward and back. Exhale, open to the sides. Breathe in here. Breathe out, elbow knee together. Inhale, open to the sides. Exhale, bring it in. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, this time extend back and forward, and then release the right hand down onto the ground. Pivot the right foot out, left foot stays lifted, left fingertips to the sky. Finding your supported half moon. Tucking the tailbone in, engaging the core. And then start moving that left foot forward. Bring it in line with your hips. And then move it back. 2 more times like this. Reach it towards the front. And back. One last one. Reach it forward. Hold here. And then move it all the way to the front of the mat. Allowing the right toes to move back. Left hand comes down onto the ground. Inhale, open the heart. Exhale, send the hips back behind you. And again, inhale, come forward. Lengthen the spine. Exhale, move back. Inhale, reach forward, arms towards the sky this time. Exhale, swing back. One more time, inhale to the front. Exhale, swing to the back. Inhale as you're reaching forward, hands into your heart center. Lift that right knee off the floor and take a gentle step forward so that you can easily transfer the weight into the left. And then you can lift that right leg off the ground, arriving into your warrior three, finding your standing balance. Embracing all wobbles and shakes that might happen here. It's all part of the practice, that's okay. One more breath. And then this time, soften that left knee, step the right foot forward. And reach all the way up into your mountain. Well done. Have a shake through your legs. And then align the feet underneath the hips for a moment. Spread the toes wide onto the mat so you can really feel rooted, supported. Keeping the legs active, natural S curve into the spine. Palms facing forward. Find that lift of the crown of the head to the ceiling. Keeping the chest open, the shoulders softening down and back. We're moving into chair, so your feet can stay underneath the hips for more space, or you can bring the big toes together, heels slightly apart. Bend the knees, reach the arms to the side of the ears. Draw the ribcage in, engage the core. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands and step back, 1 foot at a time, releasing the knees onto the mat. Tuck the tailbone under, lean forward, and release down. Try to keep everything in one line as you're moving onto the mat. Inhale, come up, find your baby cobra or cobra. Open your heart. Exhale, hips towards the heels and high towards the sky. Downward facing dog. Arriving here, lengthening the spine. And then right leg reaches high to the sky. Keep your hips squared, your leg engaged. Exhale, bring the knee towards the nose, shoulders on top of the wrists. And lightly step the foot forward, bring it between your hands if it doesn't land there. Back heel 45 degrees in, reach the arms to the sky, find your warrior one. Pressing onto the outside edge of your back foot, hips moving towards the front, knee tracking over your toes. Exhale, hands onto the mat. Step back, you can go straight into your downward dog or take your option of vinyasa. Maybe releasing the knees onto the ground. Maybe moving from plank to chaturanga. Maybe taking a three-legged vinyasa. Your choice. Left leg reaches back. Hips are squared. Exhale, bring the knee towards the nose, shoulders on top of the wrists. And step the foot between your hands. Back heel in, arms up. Warrior one. Arrive feeling your body into this pose. Press into the outside edge of the back foot. And then release, hands onto the mat. Option for your vinyasa. Or you can always skip it and go straight into downward dog. Your choice. Take a couple of deep breaths here. Lengthening the spine. Then bend the knees and look forward. Step or hop lightly to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Bend the knees, arms to the side of the ears, chair. Swing the arms back, lift the heels off the ground. Bring the torso a little bit closer towards the thighs, but keeping the ribcage joining, so again, you're not coming into a back bend. And then keep the heels lifted, bring the sitting bones a little bit lower, reaching the arms forward. And with control, all the way down towards the heels, and onto the mat behind you. Lift the legs up, come into your boat. You can grab hold of the back of the thighs if needed. Otherwise, keep the arms reaching forward. Chest open, spine is long. Now, let's start to release into our lower boat. Keeping the shoulders, the upper back lifted off the floor. And then come up. Boat pose. 2 more times, release lower boat. And then lift. Find your boat. 1 last one. Release down with control. And then lift all the way up. Cross the ankles, roll yourself forward, hands onto the mat. Step or jump back. Take your vinyasa. And we're meeting into a downward facing dog. Right leg reaches high to the sky. Exhale, bring the knee towards the nose, shoulders on top of the wrists. And all the way back behind you. Exhale, bring it in. 1 more time, inhale, reach the leg back. Exhale, bring it in, round the spine, and lightly step the foot forward. Back heel in, arms up. Find your warrior one. Now, this time, lift that right heel off the floor and send the hips a little bit more towards the front. Keep pressing into the outside edge of your back foot here. And then you can keep the heel lifted or slowly with control, you can bring it back down. We're going to transition into a humble warrior. So to keep it lifted, you're going to have a little bit more of a challenge. It's up to you here how you want to do it. Either way, we're going to release the arms behind the back, interlace the fingertips together. Inhale, lift and open. And exhale to move forward into your humble warrior. Arms reaching above the head. Shoulders onto the inside of the knee. You're still reaching forward, not towards the middle of the mat. If your heel was lifted, gently start to bring it back down onto the mat. Release the hands, frame that front foot, and step back through your vinyasa. We're meeting into downward facing dog. Left leg reaches back behind. Exhale, bring the knee towards the nose, shoulders on top of the wrists, and all the way back behind. 2 more times, knee in towards the nose, and back. 1 last one, knee in, round the spine up, and lightly step the foot forward. Back heel in, arms up. Arrive into your warrior one. Adjust your body, take any modification your body needs. And then lift that left heel off the floor, sending the hips a little bit more towards the front. Keep pressing on your back foot. Up to you if you want to keep that heel lifted, or if with control, slowly, you can already bring it down. Release the arms behind your back, interlace the fingertips. Inhale, open your heart. And exhale to slowly move forward, especially if your heel is lifted. You don't want to rush into the pose. Arriving into your humble warrior, reaching the arms above the head. Crown of the head still reaching forward. If your heel was still lifted, gently bring it back down onto the mat. And then we're all going to release the hands onto the ground. And we're stepping back, moving through our vinyasa. And meeting into our downward facing dog. Bend the knees, look forward. Step or hop to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Bend the knees, reach the arms to the side of the ears. Chair pose. Lift the heels, swing the arms back, bring the torso a little bit closer towards the thighs, keeping the spine long. And then bring the arms forward like we did before, releasing the sit-ins a little bit lower. And then all the way with control, down onto the mat, finding your boat. Now extend into your lower boat. Bring the arms up towards the sky, palms flat, like if you're pressing away something. And you're going to bend the knees and bring them towards your armpits, so past your elbows. So we're taking a crawl lane on our backs. Breathe in here. Your shoulders are still lifted off the floor. You should really feel it into the core. And then extend the legs, reach the arms forward, and lift yourself up. Boat pose. Cross the ankles, roll yourself towards the front, step or hop back, moving through your vinyasa, and once again meeting into a downward dog. Inhale, right leg reaches high to the sky. Exhale, bring the knee towards the nose, shoulders on top of the wrist. This time we're going to hold. We're going to hold for 3, for 2, and 1. Lightly step the foot forward. Find your warrior 1, back heel in, arms up. Lift the heel off the ground. Send the hips a little bit more towards the front. Release the arms behind your back. Up to you if you want to keep that heel lifted or if you want to bring it down. Inhale, open your heart. And exhale, bow forward, humble warrior. Breathing deeply. Finding your balance. And then gently with control, release the heel down. This time we're going to keep the hands as they are. We're going to lift the torso up. Bring it higher than your thigh, crown of the head reaching forward. Lift that left heel off the floor. Lean forward, come onto your right foot until you can lift that left off the floor. Arriving into your warrior 3. If the arms are too much, it's too intense to keep them interlaced behind you, then release them into your heart center, into prayer. Haha. Embracing all wobbles and shakes. And then with control, release the hands onto the mat. Step back. Take your vinyasa. Moving with your breath, no rush. We're meeting back, downward dog. Left leg reaches back behind. Exhale, bring the knee towards the nose, shoulders on top of the wrists. Hold here for 3, for 2, and 1. Lightly step the foot forward. Find your warrior 1. Arrive here. Lift that front heel off the mat. Send the hips forward. And then release the arms behind your back. It's up to you if you want to keep that heel lifted. Inhale, lift and open. Exhale, bow forward. Find your humble warrior. Well done. Breathe here. If your heel was lifted, gently start to release it back down. And lift your torso up. Bring it higher than your thigh. Crown of the head reaching forward. Lift that right heel off the ground. Send the weight all the way into the left foot until you can lift that right leg off the floor. Find your warrior 3. Breathe in here, embracing all the shakes. If you're falling, that's okay. Let go of any frustration. Maybe give a shake to your legs and take your time to come back into it. Then we're all going to release the hands down. We're going to step the foot back and we're going to take our vinyasa. Meeting back, downward facing dog. Couple of breaths here. Bend the knees, look forward. Step or hop lightly to the top. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Bend the knees, chair pose. We're going to prepare for our last sequence, so we're going to repeat, adding little bits to it for the last time. Lift the heels, swing the arms back. Sitting bones a little bit closer towards the ground as your arms coming forward. And then all the way down. This time we're staying lifted and we're gonna try to take our crow on the floor. So hands shoulder distance. Bring the knees as close towards the armpit, or you always have the option to have the arms wide, legs on top of your upper arms. Your choice. Leaning forward, looking in front of you, and then you can play lifting one heel at a time towards your butt cheek, or maybe both come up. Pressing the floor away, find that protraction of your shoulders. If you're in your crow, hold for 3, for 2, and 1. Release the feet down, and then we're all gonna step back, moving through our vinyasa to meet into our downward dog. Right leg reaches high. Exhale, bring it into a twist towards the left elbow, left upper arm. And then all the way back behind. Exhale, lean towards the nose, shoulders on top of the wrists. And back. Knee towards your right elbow, right upper arm. And back. Last one, knee towards the nose. And lightly step the foot between your hands. Find your warrior 1. Lift the heel. Move the hips a little bit more towards the front. Your choice if you want to keep it lifted. Arms behind your back, interlace the fingertips together. Inhale, lift and open. Exhale, bow forward. Humble warrior. Now with control, release the heel down. Release the hands to frame the foot. Lift that left heel off the floor. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, send the hips back. Inhale, come forward, bending the knee. Exhale, send the hips back. One more time, inhale. Exhale. Inhale, come forward, hands into your heart center. Shift the weight onto your right foot and then lift up into your warrior 3. Now, right hand reaches down onto the ground. If you have a block, I would suggest you bring it underneath your right hand. Left hand comes onto your hip and you start stacking that left hip on top of the right as your whole body opens towards the long side of the mat. Left fingertips are going to reach up towards the sky once you're there. Finding your half moon. And then we're going to move through a challenging transition. We're going to bring that left foot forward in line with the hips. And then we're going to move it back like we did on the ground at the beginning of the practice. 2 more times, reach the foot forward and move back. One last one. Reach it towards the front. Now soften that right knee and bend the left as you're bringing it all the way into the chest at the top of the mat. Whew, that was a killer. Right hand onto the outside of the knee. Left fingertips towards the back. You can stay here, or if it feels good into the body, you can grab hold of the outside edge of the foot and start to extend the leg forward. Breathe wherever you are. If you're falling, try to let go of any frustration. Try to let go of any attachment towards the pose. It's all good. With control, release the knee, release the foot. You're going to cartwheel the arms forward, stepping the left foot as further back as you can. Come onto the outside edge of it, stacking the right on top. Side plank. You can always bring that left knee underneath the left hip here. Your choice. Lift the hips high. Hold for 3, 2, and 1. Right hand comes down. Take your vinyasa, go straight into your downward dog. One more time, onto the left side, and then we're done. Left leg reaches high. Exhale, bring the knee towards the right. And all the way back behind you. Knee towards the nose, shoulders on top of the wrists. And back. Knee towards the left elbow, left upper arm. Keep your hips lifted. And back. Last one, knee towards the nose. And then lightly step the foot forward. Bring the back heel in, arms up. Warrior 1. Lift that front heel off the mat and then bring the hips a little bit more towards the front. Your choice is to keep it lifted. Release the arms behind your back. Interlace the fingertips, inhale, open the chest. And exhale to find your humble warrior. Breathe in here, keeping the external rotation into the front thigh. And then with control, release the heel down, release the hands onto the mat, lift that right heel off the floor. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, move the hips back. And again, 2 more times, inhale forward. Exhale back. One last one, inhale, reach towards the front. Exhale, send the hips back. This time as you're breathing in, bend the knee, reach the hands into your heart center. Shift the weight onto your left foot until you can lift up into your warrior 3. Keeping your back leg engaged. And then with control, release the left hand down onto the ground. Right hand onto your hip. If you have the block, bring it underneath your left hand. You're going to start moving to open your whole body towards the long side of the mat. So right hip to stack on top of the left. Once you're there, right fingertips to the sky. Find your balance. If you're struggling, know that it's okay. It's normal. It's a challenging transition. Reach the right foot forward. Bring it in line with the hip. And then move it back slowly with control. 2 more times. Reach it towards the front. And all the way back. One last one. Reach it forward. This time, bend the left knee, bend the right, and come all the way to stand at the top of the mat. Left hand onto the outside of the knee. Right fingertips reaching behind you. You can stay here or you can grab hold of the outside edge of your right foot. Deep breaths. And then with control, you're going to release the foot, release the knee, cartwheel the arms forward, step the right foot back, come onto the outside edge of it, stepping the left on top or in front. You always have the option to bring that right knee underneath the hip, finding a bit more support. Hips are lifted, embracing the shakes, and then top hand comes down, and you're moving through your last vinyasa. We're meeting into downward facing dog. Bring the knees down onto the mat. And send the arms all the way back towards your heels, coming into your child pose, resting the forehead onto the ground. Allowing the shoulders to melt on top of the knees. Reconnecting with your breath. Feeling your heartbeat. Just a couple more. And slowly, you're going to lift yourself all the way up. If you wish to stay longer into your child pose, you can always pause the video and take your time. We're going to swing the legs forward. And scoot ourselves towards the front. We're going to come all the way down onto the mat, bringing the knees into the chest and giving ourselves a big squeeze, a big hug. We're going to keep the right knee into the chest, and we're going to release the left sole of the foot down onto the mat. Right ankle on top of the thigh, finding that figure of four, flexing your right foot. You can stay here if this feels enough, or you can grab hold of the back of your left thigh, bringing the legs a little bit closer towards the chest. Stretching your IT bands, your glutes. We've done a lot of balancing, so we used a lot our legs. Enjoying this stretch, this feeling of calm we're starting to invite into our body. Keep the legs as they are, release the hands and drop the feet all the way onto the left side. Keeping the right shoulder glued on the ground, you can stay as you landed. You can bring the right knee on top of the left or cross it even deeper. Looking towards the right if it feels good for the neck. And then with control, move back through center. Keep the left knee in, right sole of the foot down, left ankle on top of the thigh. Grab hold of the back of the thigh if you want to go deeper, bringing the legs a bit closer. Both feet are flexed here. Enjoying the stretch. And then release the hands, keep the legs as they are, and drop them onto the right. Taking your choice of twist, keeping the left shoulder in contact with the ground, opening the arm, releasing any unnecessary tension here, wringing out anything that doesn't serve us. Breathe in here. And then slowly release the twist, come back through center, give yourself a big hug, a big squeeze. And then find a wall or a wardrobe, anywhere where you can put the legs up. And that's how we're gonna take our Shavasana for this practice. After so much balancing on the legs, we're gonna lift them up and allow any tension to drop, to melt away. So once you're there, legs up in the air, oh, you can open your arms wide and take a few moments here, a few minutes where you can rest and recover. Thank you so much for joining me for this balancing practice. Well done. Until the next time.